So a brief introduction of mine has already been told here. Apart from that, recently I served as group head of product and engineering manager for machine learning and artificial intelligence research group at ICCI, also known as Soliton Technologies. I worked there for almost 2 years. So I think I should be skipping all this information because you might get this with the slides. So today's talk is more about okay. I would feel today's talk to be more participative in terms of having your questions and answering them on the move. So the first question is, how would you or us feel without ChatGPT or all these AI tools in 5 years from now? Can anybody tell me how would we feel about it? After 5 years, how would we feel if we don't have access to ChatGPT or the relevant tools? So I think it would be the same as we feel about the absence of internet right now. Yes? So we'll be feeling the same way. So in this talk, we'll be talking about how and why AI adoption is accelerating across every industry, number one. Number two, how recent breakthroughs and the falling computing costs are helping us to achieve something out of it. And what opportunities lie ahead, especially for Pakistan's ecosystem, as well as why individuals and organizations, they must adopt now to stay relevant with this field. So having said that, मेरी आज की ज़्यादा slides जो हैं, they will be containing numbers which convey stories from which we can deduce our next actions. ये मेरा ख्याल है कि इसको मैं remove कर देता हूँ, मैं यहीं पे ड्रॉप करता हूँ. Okay, so this is a chart about the number of leading developers in the chip making system, the developers who are associated with developing AI based systems. So the number has almost reached to 6 million developers from 2005 to 2025. The normal LLM users, and we know what LLM is, right? Large language models, and how many different kind of LLMs we are introduced with already. ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok. Okay, great. So the actual users have risen by April 2025 to 800 million users. Next please. Okay, so this is another graph which is showing us like internet जो है, it reached 90% of its current user base in 23 years. यानी कि total जितनी user base आज के दिन मौजूद है, उसका 90% was achieved in 23 years. Whereas if we see the same trend about these LLMs or AI-based models, it has reached its 90% in the third year, which is a very fast convergence as compared to
Bluetooth mode.
Internet.
AUX mode.
Next please.
Next.
Previous. मुझे
जा रही है पीछे में स्लो ट्रांजैक्शन हो रही है.
Okay. So as far as the spending is concerned, we know the main players in this domain are NVIDIA, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, AWS Part or Meta platforms. So the spendings they have increased from 2023 to 2024 by 63%. So the last year spendings in this domain were like $212 billion. तो मकसद इन सारी स्लाइड्स का या नंबर्स का ये है कि हम मज़ीद सिग्निफाई कर सकें उस इम्पोर्टेंस को, उस टॉक की इम्पोर्टेंस को, उस टॉपिक की इम्पोर्टेंस को जिसको आज हम डिस्कस करने चाह रहे हैं. एंड देन बाय दीज स्लाइड्स वी फाइंड आउट कि किस जगह के ऊपर हमारे लिए क्या चीज़ छुपी है जिसका हम यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं. ओके, ये चार्ट है व्हिच बेसिकली शोज के किसी भी टेक्नोलॉजी की कमोडिटाइजेशन जो है, हाउ अर्ली इट हैपेंस. सो जब हमारे पास इलेक्ट्रिक पावर आई थी तब वो बहुत कॉस्टली थी और फिर एक शार्प डिक्लाइन था विद इन फ्यू इयर्स कि उसकी कॉस्ट एक नॉर्मल रेंज में होगी बिफोर इट गॉट फ्लैटेड. सो कंपैरेटिव टू दिस इलेक्ट्रिक पावर या इवन रैम जो कंप्यूटर की मेमोरी है, एआई इन्फ्रेंस जो है इट हैज बिकम comparatively more cheaper, or by inferencing we mean the usage of these AI models, right? It's not about training, it's the inference, the usage of these models. Okay, so this is another graph which shows a US based LLM company's revenue which has increased by 3.7 billion, but at the same time their loss has grown up to $5 billion. And the basic reason is the money being spent against the compute power. So it is, in terms of training, it is really an expensive job. Whereas once we talk about applications which have started using AI, we can see a comparison of a rideshare app versus another autonomous taxi provider which is AI powered. So the share of that AI powered AI system has grown over to 27% of the market share as compared to the normal values. So there is a slight kind of opportunity being shown in these slides, और वो ये है कोई भी एग्जिस्टिंग सिस्टम, कोई भी एग्जिस्टिंग ऐप जो आपके पास वर्ल्ड वाइज यूज हो रही है, चाहे वो लोकली यूज हो रही है, देयर इज अ सर्टेन चांस कि अगर आप उसको एआई की मदद से बेहतर कर सकें इन एनी पर्सपेक्टिव, यू मे गेट पास देयर मार्केट शेयर टू कैप्चर इट. और यहाँ पे एक बड़ी स्ट्रेंज सी बात है कि लीडिंग US based LLMs, not talking about the Chinese LLM, क्योंकि ये रिपोर्ट जहाँ से मैंने इंफॉर्मेशन सारी ली थी, this report was actually talking about all those LLMs which were developed in USA. So if we see the users by region, the highest ratio of users is from the sub-Saharan Africa. So जिसको हम कहते हैं ना कि एक digital divide exist करता है. These LLMs have already bridged that digital divide. So if we talk about the market is global now. No country, no region is out of that competition now. And being South Asia being second on it, and definitely they have not included China in the East Asia or Pacific region, otherwise ये शायद सबसे top पे होता. And once we start talking about the scale of the models which are being developed, we have seen like 160% increase per year. And by these models, we mean the models which are being developed by XAI or NVIDIA or Anthropic. So it's almost exponential increase. The capacity of these models is almost on an exponential increase. Once we talk about the growth of the ChatGPT users, as per OpenAI, so it has been like 8 times. Within a year and a half, and it has grown to 800 million users in 17 months. ChatGPT इस वक्त क्या कुछ कर सकता है, किस तरह एक्ट कर सकता है? कभी आपने पर्सोना के साथ यूज किया ChatGPT को? पर्सोना से मुराद क्या होता है? Exactly. तो आप जब किसी पर्सोना के तौर पे उसको यूज कर रहे होते हैं, you assign it a role and it starts behaving according to that specific role. So if we talk about ChatGPT, it can generate human level text, code and logic, which is already obvious. We do it all the time. It creates full length films and games. It understands and speaks like a human being. And there is a huge list which all of you are already aware of. And once we talk what it is going to do in the very near future, it would be able to conduct a scientific research from end to end. It will be able to design the advanced technologies. It will be able to simulate human-like minds. There was a test was conducted by like 1,023 testers who were given the task to judge कि आया कोई ये जो response है, is it a human-like response or is it an AI-generated response? So that response was generated by different kind of models, and for GPT 4.5, 73% of the time the humans voted it to be a human response instead of an AI response. So see how close these models have got into comparison as compared to the human beings. Okay. So once we talk about the number of users, count of users to reach 100 million, there is a comparison of different technologies which already exist. So Netflix को perhaps 10.3 years लगे थे to reach the limit of 100 billion users. And in comparison, ChatGPT took only 0.2 years to reach the same number. So see how disruptive this kind of technology is. And then there is a study which was conducted in 2 different years, in 2023 and 2025, which compared the usage of ChatGPT across different age groups. So the first one was conducted within the age of 18 to 29, and like again within months, the percentage of users within this age bracket grew from 33% to 55%. And similarly, for age 65 plus, the usage grew from 4 to 20%. And once this question was asked to 𝗧𝗵𝗲, he grossly oversimplified the whole concept and said कि वो तमाम बूढ़े लोग जो पहले गूगल यूज किया करते थे उन्हें चैट जीपीटी एज एन अल्टरनेटिव ऑफ गूगल मिला, जबकि जो 20 से 30 साल के दौर के दरमियान में है तो उनके लिए चैट जीपीटी इज मोर लाइक अ लाइफ एडवाइजर, कि कोई भी जो मशवरा है उन्होंने उस चैट जीपीटी से लिया. So this is a graph which shows the active users who use ChatGPT over the day. So in April 2025, like 20% on average, every person who was using mobile was spending on these tools, on ChatGPT specifically. Coming to the cost of developing the infrastructure for these technologies, on the left side you can see this, which is called the largest data center being built by XAI. It took 122 days to become fully operational, whereas a half-built house in 2024 takes up almost the same time. So initially the estimate given to build this whole data center was 24 months, and they got it done in 4 months. So it is in 2 phases. Each phase is of like 100,000 GPUs. So the first phase is already done, and second phase is being done. So the point in discussing such slides is कि ये जो compute power है या ये जो capacity है इन giant companies के पास, they can certainly build these compute powers within days.
Next slide.
Okay, so another comparison of different technologies over the years, starting from this
Net
old
same
model
नहीं चल
T,
रहा.
which took like 2,500 days to reach 1 million customers, and an app 𝗧𝗵𝗲, which took almost 1,680 days. ChatGPT took 5 days to reach the same number with $0 cost. With $0 cost. So ये सारी की सारी slides, ये सारे के सारे numbers जो हैं, they are just to sensitize us that right now we are at the right time to take a decision. And in few coming slides, I'll be talking upon ये कितना important है, या ये कितना important है that if we lose a day or a month, so actually it resembles losing years of technology race as compared to before. So once we talk about the training data sizes, so we can see that they are in the range of 10⁻13 tokens these days. So even GPT-4 was trained close to 10⁻13 tokens. So it's a huge amount of data on which these models are being trained these days. And if we talk about the cost of training these models, so have you heard about exception model? किसी ने यूज किया हो एक्सेप्शन? आज से 2-3 साल पहले तक मोस्ट वाइडली यूज्ड डीप लर्निंग मॉडल एक्सेप्शन ही था, जिसके थ्रू हम मुख्तलिफ अपने साइंटिफिक एक्सपेरिमेंट्स वगैरह करते थे. सो दैट स्पेसिफिक मॉडल टुक लाइक $30,000 टू बी ट्रेन्ड, एंड नाउ वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट क्रॉसिंग $100 million मॉडल्स, यानी कि ऐसे मॉडल्स जिनके ऊपर जो सिर्फ ट्रेनिंग की कॉस्ट है दैट इज इन मल्टीपल्स ऑफ हंड्रेड्स ऑफ मिलियंस. And according to Dario, वो दिन दूर नहीं है, बल्कि it would be within 2027 that there would be models which are being trained with an amount of $100 billion. So ये कई दुनिया के कई मुल्कों की इकोनॉमी के कई गुना रकम है, जिससे कोई एक स्पेसिफिक मॉडल जो है वो यही का ट्रेन होगा. So are we in this race as Pakistanis? Or country like Pakistan or countries similar to us, are we there in this race? No. So हमारे लिए क्या so far हम benefit क्या ले सकते हैं?
Usability.
Exactly. So let's come to those slides where we can see. अच्छा, अब जहाँ तक बात है inference prices की, तो आप लोगों में से किसी ने अगर ChatGPT का Pro मॉडल जो है वो खरीदा हुआ है, तो देयर इज अ सर्टेन विंडो ऑफ यूजेज जो आप एक फ्री में यूज कर सकते हैं और फिर पेड वर्जन्स में, डिफरेंट पेड वर्जन्स में यूज कर सकते हैं. सो एआई इन्फ्रेंस की जो प्राइस है पर मिलियन टोकन्स, इट हैज फॉलन टू लाइक, एंड दिस इज अ लॉगरिथमिक स्केल. लॉगरिथमिक स्केल का मतलब ये है कि एवरी टिक इज बेसिकली अ शार्प डिक्लाइन. तो आपके ख्याल में इफ जो मैंने एक स्लाइड पहले दिखाई थी जहाँ पे a company is in loss of $5 billion just because it's spending on the training of its models. So why do you think this loss is decreasing or is being decreased? What do you think कि ये जो specific inference price है, और या मैं कहूँगा कि usage की price है, it is being decreased? Competition, exactly. The competition between different 5 big companies which is leading to this drop, जिससे हमें इसको यूज करना जो है that is becoming cheaper and cheaper every day. I don't know if it will continue to be the same, but till there is a convergence, till there is a model good enough to be called good enough, तब तक ये trend range में ही होगा. Okay, so अब अगर हम बात करें लीडिंग एआई सुपर कंप्यूटर्स की, ऐसी लैब्स की जिन पर ये मॉडल्स ट्रेन हो रहे हैं, सो दे आर लाइक इन द रेंज ऑफ 10 raised to the power 20 flops. They are capable of this, and the largest so far is the XAI's Colossus. ये बेसिकली वही डाटा सेंटर कह रहे हैं या कंप्यूट पावर सेंटर कह रहे हैं, जिसकी पिक्चर मैंने आपको कुछ देर पहले दिखाई. So it's a 150% increase per year. So ये सारे के सारे they are different computation resources जिन पे मुख्तलिफ कंपनीज अपने मॉडल्स जो हैं they have trained on them. So the largest so far is Colossus, and this trend is still getting on. सो जो लीडिंग कंपनीज हैं उनके बेसिकली ये सारे स्लाइड के साथ साथ कंप्यूटेशनल मॉडल कंप्यूटेशनल जो रिसोर्सेज हैं दे आर बीइंग शोन हियर और अदर देन दोस बहुत सारे ऐसे भी हैं वर्ल्ड वाइड जो एग्जिस्ट करते हैं जो पे ये सारे मॉडल्स ट्रेन किए जा रहे हैं. Okay, and then this is a very interesting slide which tells us कि कौन सी markets ऐसी हैं which are still fragmented in terms of कि हमारे पास x-axis की scale के ऊपर number of companies हैं for every sector and we can see that of course the restaurants are the biggest in numbers. So similarly if we see on this person 50 companies or more पे और ये बबल का साइज है ये शो करता है उसकी इकोनॉमी. So the most fragmented areas are these areas where we can pitch in our ideas. Either by dentists we mean anything which can help the medical people in the medical services. Either they are nurses or they are physiotherapists or dentists or medical practitioners. Everyone among them can be helped because this area is segmented right now. There is no single one big company which is dominating the whole. So all these areas they are pretty segmented where we can try our luck. This is again another slide which shows the current trend of AI based devices जो कि मेडिकल डोमेन में इंडक्ट हो रही हैं. You can see that the number of medical devices, AI based medical devices has risen to 223 devices. And these are the devices which have been approved by FDA. And we know what FDA is, right? क्या है FDA बेटा?
Federal Development Authority.
एक अमेरिकन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है which is responsible to approve all these gadgets and things which are meant for medical domain. So all these trends are showing us the rapid increase in the usage of AI tools, in the usage of devices which are supported by these AI tools. And then this is another graph which shows us the usage of AI. कौन सी like for example if we talk about the information sector by October 2023 like 14% of this area, this domain, the information domain, the companies working in this domain have already adopted AI in their daily usage. And by March 2025, this number has grown to 20%. And within the next 6 months, means by the time of the year where we are standing, this has been grown to 25%. So we can compare it for all these different. We can compare it for all these different sectors. एम्बिएंट टेक्नोलॉजी का किसी ने नाम सुना हुआ है? स्क्राइब का. स्क्राइब, व्हाट इज एक्चुअली स्क्राइब? बड़ा फेमस है आजकल इन द एआई डोमेन. स्क्राइब कन्वर्टिंग द वॉइस इनटू टेक्स्ट. तो बहुत सारी ऐसी जगहें जहां पर ये यूजफुल हो सकता है. लाइक मिसाल के तौर पे एक डॉक्टर जिसके पास कोई पेशेंट जाता है और डॉक्टर जो है एट द सेम टाइम उस पेशेंट से बात भी कर रहा होता है, नोट्स भी ले रहा होता है, सोच भी रहा होता है अबाउट द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चंस टू बी आस्क्ड. तो उस काम को ईज आउट करने के लिए देयर आर मेनी सॉल्यूशंस बाय डिफरेंट. बात है नंबर ऑफ विजिट्स की which have been grown. बात है नंबर ऑफ विजिट्स की which have been grown from like 0 to almost 250,000 visits over the scale of a year and a half. So this is how AI has been helping the providers as well as normal users in facilitating. और इसके अंदर बहुत एक स्लाइड आगे आ रही है जिसके अंदर इंटरसेक्ट किया हुआ है डिफरेंट डोमेन्स में where we can intersect किया हुआ है डिफरेंट डोमेन्स में where we can actually pitch in our ideas. Okay, another company, Average, whose revenue has jumped from $50 million to $170 million again within months, and it has been part of this Fortune magazine. This national award includes more than 25,000 doctors and clinicians, 40 hospitals, and 600 medical offices. So this is the scale on which AI is being adopted in different countries.
159.
Acha ji, so I have listed some main companies just for you to see them or see what they have made. के अंदर patient engagement से relevant services कौन सी companies दे रही हैं, बनाने की कौन सी ऐसी companies हैं जो world wide अपनी services दे रही हैं, उसके अलावा care decision making में कौन सी ऐसी companies हैं जो कि doctors को help कर रही हैं to decide or take decisions about the next action for a specific case. And then coming to our local context, luckily speaking, ChatGPT का mobile app monthly active user in million of users, top 10 countries have been using. But we can see the comparison with India, which is like 13.5% of the top users. Cursor को जानते हैं? Cursor AI. Okay. So what does it provide? What kind of services does it provide? Code generation. So it is just, and you will already be knowing that this is being owned by a Pakistani guy, right? Then there is another example of Applied Intuition. Applied Intuition के जो CEO है 𝗧𝗵𝗲 and his tool, this physical world AI vehicle intelligence tool, is now being used in 18 different car manufacturing companies. So this is again a local context. Okay, this is the slide which I was talking about. कि अगर हम सिर्फ हेल्थ केयर डोमेन पे फोकस कर लें, सिर्फ हेल्थ केयर डोमेन पे फोकस कर लें, we have these phases in which a patient is usually taken care of. The initial one is the initiation, the pre-service, the service, the post-service and the follow-up, which can be done. Telehealth का नाम सुना हुआ है हम सब ने ना? कोई एग्जाम्पल है हमारे जहन में टेलीहेल्थ की? ओलाडॉग. So ओलाडॉग के अंदर AI इन्वॉल्व है अभी? Perhaps another oladog, which with the help of the AI can do something better than oladog. So all these all these segments within each segment. So coming to the end of these slides and our innovation opportunity for Pakistan. So we have always been crying in being left behind in the technology race, but perhaps this AI race, it had equal opportunities for all the nations across the globe. So since global AI demand is exploding and Pakistan can export AI talents, tools and services, computer costs are falling, GPU prices और चाहे वो local inferencing price हो, चाहे वो optimized models हो. So these all are reducing the entry barrier for all local Pakistanis or the local Pakistani companies or even the universities. So points which we have, large population of youth people, the young engineers, strong IT outsourcing footprint. We already present at competitive labor costs and we are having a growing cloud infrastructure these days. अब रही ये बात कि कहाँ पे AI की, तो starting from healthcare, चाहे वो radiology हो, decision support हो, hospital की automation हो, these are just three main areas. Agriculture है तो उसमें yield prediction है, disease की detection है, precision irrigation है. Government और public sector में नादरा की scale की कोई भी organization के अंदर ये कहाँ पे आ सकता है. Manufacturing या textiles के अंदर quality which are ready for AI deployment. So we can always integrate the AI with the domain science. So the teachers, the researchers present at the universities, they can invest in their time in optimizing the model. Since हम compete नहीं कर सकते in making a new ChatGPT scale of model, we cannot. We don't have the infrastructure for that. We don't have the cost expenditure to be borne to do that. So all we can do is, for the existing models, we can try about models which are more optimized, जो शायद edge devices पे चल सकते हो, जो IoT की domain में फ़ायदा दे सकते हो. हमें उनको एक experience देने की ज़रूरत है. तो हमें basically intellectual property generate करने की ज़रूरत है, besides the talent which is utilized. So AI again, जैसे मैंने कहा कि AI is not something which is going to reward the biggest economies. because now it's more like an equal opportunity for all. So it would reward the fastest learners. So this is Pakistan's moment in taking the challenge. So why should we adopting it? Because जिसने इंटरनेट को 23 साल लिए AI ने वही काम 3 साल में किया. So it's no more a linear curve. तो इसके अंदर जिस तरह मैंने पहले कहा था कि 1 महीना या 2 महीने वेस्ट कर देने का इक्विवेलेंट जो है it's equivalent of wasting many years as compared to the past. So workflows जो है they are being rewritten, coding जो है it is assisted or automated, research is accelerated, autonomous agents are already there, operations are augmented by prediction and automation. So individuals who ignore AI will quickly be outpaced by those who actually use it. So this is something which we have been hearing over the years. दूसरी बात यहाँ पे अब ये रही कि इसके ऊपर मैंने एक टॉक दी थी कि AI की इंटीग्रेशन पे fear of missing out FOMO और joy of missing out JOMO, इससे मिलती होती टर्मिनोलॉजी में मैंने एक टॉक दी थी कि what are the mindsets जो basically industrial mindsets who are fearing to join this AI bandwagon or who have done it so fast that they have failed. So and then there is a third category जो तरीके से अपने यूज केसेस को स्टेप बाय स्टेप शिफ्ट करके इस AI को इंटीग्रेट करें अपने सिस्टम. So the organizations they can get 10 to 100% efficiency boost, reduce operation costs, better decision making, competitive advantage. They can get competitive advantage in global market. और दूसरी बात ये कि जिस तरह किसी ज़माने में the use of computer was considered to be a skill not only for a specific degree program but for everybody. English का आना was a skill, computer का इस्तेमाल करना was a skill, document editing tools का use करना was a skill. Similarly ये अब skill सिर्फ कंप्यूटर साइंस के स्टूडेंट्स के लिए नहीं है, बट फॉर एवरीबॉडी कि उसको AI टूल्स का नॉलेज हो. सो इट्स सॉर्ट ऑफ अ न्यू लिटरेसी. जिस तरह किसी ज़माने में जो है वो इंटरनेट का यूजेज होता था. So AI era में the real divide is not between the rich and poor nations, it is between the adopters and the non-adopters. And everybody has got an equal opportunity, by the way. So AI is actually no longer emerging, it is accelerating faster than anything we have seen before. Again, enormous opportunities हैं for healthcare, बहुत सारे massive data sets हैं जिनको use किया जा सकता है. And our hospitals, our local hospitals, our government hospitals, they already have those data sets which we can use. For every professional, AI is now a foundational skill. So the question is, how will you participate in this transformation? This is the main question. So at the end, we have the call for action. So you can ask me questions and I will try to answer them, or I may ask you questions and you might try to answer them. So this is the way we have to engage. You can collaborate. I am open to collaboration in the field of video analytics and healthcare. And you can stay connected, follow the research companies and the groups to be aware of the latest trends in this domain. So I'm open for questions. Thank you.